was looking at my TBR and I was thinking, what do all these books have in common? And then I thought these are all romance books where I got recommendations from BookTok. An idea was born. I am so excited. Okay, so I have this book stack here, right here, guys, okay? And you might be thinking, Miles, what do all these books have in common? These are books that I have accumulated because I have gotten these recommendations of books off of BookTok. Actually, these are books where I have seen my favorite BookTokers / booktubers literally list these books and saying that they liked them, and as I am easily influenced, of course I bought them. So I'm going to be reading these books over the next week. Delusional, thinking I can get through all these, but over the next week, and I'm going to tell you guys if they are worth the hype, if they're worth the recommendation, or if I think they're a complete dud. I'm really excited because these are all books that have been on my TBR cart, so I need to get through these anyway, and this is just a really fun way of doing it because I'm like, you know what? These books have all in common of that I was influenced by these via social media, via BookTok. That's what we're gonna be doing this week, and I'm excited. So I've already started You Deserve Each Other, and luckily the audiobook just came in through Libby, so I can be able to listen to this as well, which is gonna help me get through these books even faster. But this book is serving so much pettiness right now. So basically this book is about a couple named Naomi and Nicholas, and they essentially had this like whirlwind romance, but as soon as she got the ring on her finger, he like completely changed, and she's got like this evil mother-in-law who's just terrible. His family comes from money. She's kind of giving hippie vibes, like low maintenance, and his family's very high maintenance, and she's realizing she doesn't want to freaking get married, but so much money has already been thrown into this wedding, and she's like, I can't afford to pay these people back. Like, what am I gonna do? Our wedding's literally in a couple months, and she's like, you know what? I'm gonna get him to break up with me. It's not gonna be me, it's gonna be him. And then suddenly, okay, I think he's doing the same thing. So then it just goes from there, and it's like, it's so petty, it's so funny, it's so toxic. But right now, that's where I'm at. I'm about 58 pages in, so I'm not super far, but I'm liking it so far because it's just serving like toxic right now. So I'm excited to see where this goes. But that's what we're doing right now. I think this is a pretty solid lineup. So yeah, I gotta say, that's all I gotta say. It is update time. Okay guys, I just wanted to update you guys on what I am reading. So we finished our first book, You Deserve Each Other by Sarah Hoggle. I finished this morning. I listened to most of this book on audiobook because it just happened to come available, which was really awesome. This book, it's a hard one because it is giving all the rom-com vibes. This could easily be any early 2000s rom-com video where two people just can't stand each other. They find themselves in this engagement and they realize they absolutely cannot stand each other, and they struggle to like, they're like, okay, no, you're gonna dump me first, no, you're gonna dump me first, and they're like doing anything they can to make each other miserable. And I thought that like idea was super cute. I felt like I was reading a early 2000s rom-com movie, It was entertaining, but the main female character in this book drove me absolutely insane. It ruined it for me. I feel like she did like start to redeem herself throughout the book, but holy crap, I found her annoying. And I was thinking about it. I was like, is it misogynistic that I'm like thinking that she's ungrateful and annoying and a brat throughout this book? And I find him to be like not that bad, but no, like she was a brat. And like I said, she starts to redeem herself. So I'm like, okay, you know, but sometimes like reading this book, I'm like, oh my God, like shut up. If you don't like the miscommunication trope, then I do not recommend you guys read this book. I mean, this book is just one giant communication trope. Miscommunication trope. Like, so entertaining, yes. Cute, yes. I gave it a 3.5. 3.5. Okay, so I'm so curious if you guys have read this book because I know this was big in 2023 and I missed that whole train. So all over booktok on 2023. I just didn't pick it up. So I know I'm late to this, but I'm curious if you guys read it when it was going through the hype of what you thought about this book, because I could see why it got the hype because I haven't read anything that's like this before and it was cute, but I was just kind of annoyed throughout the whole thing. But ugh, that's just like nitty gritty. I mean, it was an entertaining, cute book. Okay. Anywho, first book done, and then I'm doing it, guys. I am on the third book of the Chestnut Spring series. I read the second one last summer, so I'm gonna try. My goal is by the end of 2024 is to finish this series. Okay, like it's ridiculous at this point, but the fact that I'm reading it again, like. I forgot how much I love being in the Chestnut Springs world, and I love her writing, and I feel the female characters she writes, and I love the tension she builds. I'm literally on page like 20. Okay, I'm like already like refreshed to be back in Chestnut Springs. Okay, so this book is about Sloane and Jasper. Sloane is a ballerina. They've been friends since childhood on the ranch. I remember when I was younger, I had a little ranch crush. Jasper is kind of a part of like the friend group of like Cade and Rhett and all of them, and he was kind of adopted by that family. I think he has some family trauma going on there. He's always loved her like in secret, and it sounds like she's always loved him in secret, but she's engaged to somebody else right now. It's like Jasper's past is gonna get in the way and make things a little more complicated, and the fact that she's literally days from where I am, she's days from marrying somebody else. Okay, so we'll see what happens with these two, but Elsie Silver's writing is just so amazing. It is Wednesday and we are done with one book, so we're not doing too great, but we're also not doing too bad. I just wanted to give you guys a little update. And then I literally got a blind date with a book, which is so cute. Sent to me. And I got this book. I literally see this all the time and I've never read it. So I'm excited about that. And it came with like a little highlighter. Anyway, this is irrelevant to this. Okay. Bye. Oscar and I, Jasper has Oscar and I blushing. Okay, let me read you guys this line. Why do I hold the camera like a weird person? This line, guys. Okay. Jasper says, like, basically come save me because this waitress is talking to me. And she goes, so talk to her. Jasper says, I don't like talking to people. Real. Sloane says, you talk to me, Jasper. You are not people. Sloane, LMAO. When am I then? Jasper, my person. Okay. That 8. I have a super fun reading update for you guys. Welcome to Coffee Chats with Miles. Guys, binged the heck out of this book, okay? I think I read this in like 24 hours. Don't want to brag, okay? We had a slow work day, okay? So I finished Powerless. Can we also talk about the fact that Lauren Roberts and Elsie Silver are gonna have like 3 books with the same titles? Does anyone feel awkward? Anyway, so I finished Powerless and I'm giving this, I had to ponder on it, but I'm giving it a 4-star. A 4-star, 4.1, because Sloane carried this book. Okay, so she carried. Jasper was getting on my nerves a little bit in this book, and I was excited for his book because on the other books he was like so mysterious with the hat, and I was like, you know what, I feel like he's a really nice guy. He is giving, it's giving annoying, because I remember back in the day when I used to date guys like that, and they would always have an excuse for why they couldn't be with you, or like something personal was going on, and blah 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 blah. And I'm a firm believer if he would want to, he would. I like that Jasper was self-aware that he was like kind of a coward, but however, I felt like Sloane, her communication skills throughout this book were so good. She knew exactly what she wanted. She was selfless. She was such a good person. And like, I was like, you know what? She is, I think, out of your league. I loved obviously, Wishing Well Ranch, like, is such a vibe. Like, I wish I could go to Wishing Well Ranch. I loved the little ventures that they had. I loved that they incorporated characters from the first Elsie Silver series, Off to the Races. I'm like learning, I was like looking into that, and they incorporated those characters. I hated how they kept bringing up the fact that they were like kissing cousins or something. Like, I'm like, this is so weird. I get like Jasper's like technically adopted, so like technically they're not blood cousins, adoptive cousins, but they just like kept bringing it up as a joke, and I'm like, it is kind of weird. It's giving Life with Derek vibes. If you know, you know. Like, the fact that they're just like kind of keeping it in the family. Okay, I thought this book was really good. I loved the banter. My favorite thing about this book is the fact that Jasper and Sloane's connection was so strong because of their childhood friendship, and I loved how she kept bringing it up, like, and it made their bond so much stronger, and you could really feel like the love that they had for each other, and that they were like, no matter what, like, we're just different. And I definitely understand that feeling of like, they've gone through so much together that no matter what, like, they're just different. And I thought their bond was super cute. I thought his protectiveness over her was super cute. I loved the little nicknames he had for her, and I genuinely felt the love he had for her. And I love that it was such a good transition into like the friendship to lovers. I think a lot of books do such a bad job of that transition, and it's like one, you blink an eye and then it's like, okay, now we're lovers. Like, how did this happen? It was such a good, like, realistic transition, and I really enjoyed that. And I just love her writing. I love this whole found family of this series. She does such a good job of like incorporating past characters with current characters, and it just makes this entire book so enjoyable. So 4 stars. If Jasper wasn't as annoying to this book, I would honestly make it like a 4.2, 4.5. But obviously Chestnut Springs is like a 5-star series. It has to be, you know. I have moved on to our next book, which is Summer Romance by Annabelle Montague. I've heard nothing but good things about this book, and it's definitely on my summer TBR. So I'm excited. I haven't started it yet, only picked out the bookmark. So we're gonna go into Summer Romance. I don't know how much reading I want to get done tomorrow because I'm going to a Luke Combs concert. I'm like, called this a coffee chat, and literally my ice is melting. The dog's name is Brenda. Why does that make me laugh? I love dogs that have human names. Like my dog's name is Oscar, and the fact that the dog in this book's name is Brenda is absolutely everything. Update time. Okay, finished Summer Romance by Annabelle Monaghan. I definitely understand what people are saying when they say this reminds them of an Abby Jimenez book and how it's just like way more than a summer romance. It's hard to put into words why I enjoyed this book so much. Okay, one, the writing was so good and gets you attached to the characters without spending a huge amount of time on backstory. She doesn't, the pacing of this book is really, really well. Like everything, it feels super intentional and not like there's no fluff or there's no like dragging something out. I love how realistic this book felt and that like I felt like she was a real person and she was really going through this divorce. And I usually don't like kids in books, but she wrote these kids in the books so well where she like kept them as kids. She didn't make them main characters, but she made them so they added to the plot of the story, which a lot of books, I don't like when they give the kids too much of a personality in these books where it like takes away from the actual plot. The male main character, Ethan, I felt like he was also super realistic and it was so much more than a romance. It was about grief, it was about family, it was about moving on, about finding your confidence. This book had great character development. I don't know, it wasn't anything crazy, no crazy storyline plot. It just was refreshing, really good writing and really good character development. I don't know. I gave this book a 4 stars. I definitely want to read more Annabelle Monaghan books. She's a really good author and I just thoroughly enjoyed this book. I thought the meet cute was so cute. I love the incorporation with the dogs. It was just an overall really cute, fun, fast read. And I would recommend this to anybody. So that leads us up to our last and final book of this video, which is going to be Catching Feelings. I kept seeing this book in Barnes and I hadn't picked it up and I hadn't read a book by Alicia Thomas. Still haven't, even though I got one in that blind date with the book. So now I have 2 of her books, but I haven't read anything from her before. It's cute. It's a sports romance. So I've started it yesterday and I'm currently on page 62. There's this girl named Daphne and she's going through a divorce. Another book about divorce. And she is at a baseball game and she like lets loose for once and forever. Like she never drinks that much or parties. And she starts to get really into the game and she kind of like heckles one of the baseball players and she yells something like an insult at him and he actually like starts crying and then it like gets broadcasted on television and it's everywhere. She feels really bad about it and she decides to like DM him, but her like Instagram is very like obscure. It's just about books. It's like a bookstagram and he answers the DM and they start going from there. She doesn't tell him that she was the girl that made him cry, like the heckler from the stands. I like the writing so far, good pacing. I think it's different than your typical sports romance and the fact that like he seems to have like much deeper emotions and thoughts and baseball seems more like his job than, you know, his life. Like he's not one of the boys or whatever and he has good emotional intelligence but nobody to kind of share that with. So it's interesting of how their little meet cute, if you want to call it that, since she has not, I guess has not revealed her identity is. And of course someone would start mowing the lawn. This is about 360 pages. I'm on page 60 and I thought I would be burnt out of romances right now, but this one's like enjoyable. I'm having a good time, genuinely. These guys, books are popular for a reason. You're getting recommended them for a reason. I think that's what this video is teaching me. So anywho, so I'm like tired and drinking this so I can come back to life. Press conference, guys. So I'm halfway through. I listened to the majority of this book, okay, because reading it, You're telling me I'm halfway through this book and these characters have maybe talked twice in person. You're telling me you guys are like in your 30s, late 20s, 30s. A girl slides into your DMs, won't tell you her name, won't talk to you on the phone. You're a professional MLB player. You have no idea who this girl is. She could be a man for all you know. You have no idea. And this is going on. And honestly, guys, it's not even a spoiler because there's no plot. Like, there's nothing to spoil. I'm just telling you guys what's on the freaking book is that she's sliding to this guy's DMs and calling herself Ducky. Won't tell her real name. Nothing's changed. I'm halfway through the book. Is this an episode of, like, haven't you seen the show Catfish? Like, I am just like, this is just so ridiculous. Like, this is so ridiculous and unrealistic. And like, if I have to read one more text conversation, part of me wants to DNF, okay? Out of spite, because this book had potential. And so out of spite, part of me wants to DNF. But I won't do it. I won't do it. I'll finish it, okay? Because the writing is not bad. The writing is good. She's a good author. The story is stupid. I can't even spoil anything for you guys because I'm literally halfway through the book and all I've learned is the same thing that I've learned when I read in the back of the freaking book. Like, the art of being stupid. The art of catfish. What are we doing here? Okay, I'm gonna finish it, okay? I'm gonna give you the last half of the book, Daphne and Chris, to redeem yourselves because this ain't it right now. I'm gonna finish the book and I'm gonna check in. I already have what I think I'm gonna give it for a rating, but we'll see.
1 hour later.
Absolutely not. Guys, it's a DNF. It has to be a DNF. I'm 60% through this book and she's still lying. I am genuinely so triggered by this book. You are a shitty person. Usually in books, if one of the characters is like a bad person, they're doing something wrong, there's like a rhyme or a reason or some way of understanding. This girl does not have 2 feet to stand on. There is absolutely no reason why she should be lying. Like, I'm not rooting for this couple. I actually can't stand you. This poor guy. I like skipped forward just like to see some things and it gets worse. It gets worse. Like, it doesn't, I was like, okay, let me just flip. No, it gets absolutely worse. Absolutely not. Jail. And it's sad because the writer is actually a good writer. So like, the writing was good. It's fast paced. It's a good writing. The story is horrible. Main character, like the guy, like, are you that dumb? Like, she won't tell you her name. She won't even speak on the phone. Are you kidding me? The whole plot is her lying. Like, the whole plot is like, when is she gonna stop lying? This is a red flag female, okay? Don't date someone like this. We're all pro DNFing over here. There's too many books on that TBR to read this. Like, I'm sitting there getting triggered and I'm like, wait a minute. Reading is supposed to be fun. I'm sitting here so annoyed with this character. So annoyed. Like, I was like, when she was lying at first, I was like, okay, I'll give her grace. Like, I'll give it, okay. Okay, it's gotta come together. I'm going on Goodreads and people are like, no. She lies up until the 70% mark. What? 70%, and then they keep getting worse and worse. Like, and people are like calling her. Anyway, I don't want to give away the book in case anyone wants to read it, but horrible, 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 horrible. DNF, absolutely not. And sadly, guys, we ended off the video on a really sad note. So let's do a little bit of recap of the books that we read this week as little besties. We'll go through my ratings and my final analysis of reading romance recs that I got from BookTok for a week. So we ended up getting through 4 out of the 6 books that I had planned on reading this week, which is not too bad, guys, okay? Because I had a pretty busy week. Start off the week strong with You Deserve Each Other, and I gave this one a 3.5 stars. Super cute, super toxic, easy, fun read though. Main girl a little whiny, but overall 3.5, pretty solid. Then we went to read Powerless by Elsie Silver. I absolutely love being in this world. I thought Sloane carried a 4-star. Jasper was a bit like, wasn't my favorite in this book. I found him to be a little bit selfish, kind of like a little bit of an F-boy. He redeems himself, he comes around, however, 4-star, love. Then we go for Summer Romance. This was my highest rated book of the week, but I'll give this one a 4.1, 4.2. See, I'll give this one a 4.2. I absolutely loved her writing. Every ounce of this book had substance. It had a point, it had a reasoning behind it. I found her character to be so fully developed, even though it wasn't dragging on. I love the realism of this book and the realistic of what it's like to probably to be divorced and have kids and move on. I loved the town. It was so much more than a summer romance. It was about grief. It was about finding yourself. I just loved it. So the highest rated book of this week and the lowest rated book of this week is a DNF with The Art of Catching Feelings. This book had so much promise. The writing was good. However, the story was absolutely horrible. I think we're a little past writing about catfishing in 2024. And about lying and not being honest about who we are, or like things like that. I think the whole thing is just absolutely ridiculous. I think an MLB player would never fall for something like this. And it's like giving the girl, like maybe the girl on Catfish who thought she was dating Little Bow Wow, okay? Like, and you are just a liar. Like, there's no redemption arc for you here. I don't even care. Like, seek help, actual jail. This was reading romance book recs I got from TikTok for a week. This video was so much fun. Let me know if you guys have any suggestions of other themed reading videos I should do. These are my favorite, and I love you guys further than forever, and I will see you guys in my next video very soon. Bye.